There we go, we're live now. Good evening, folks. A wee bit later than normal, but we're here. Thanks for coming in. And tonight we're welcoming, but I can never say that word. Welcoming back Natalie Gardner from Ghostramblers Investigations. Natalie's from Wales, but we don't hold that against her because she's a lovely lady. A very talented photographer. She's good with the camera. Really. So it's been, I don't know, since before COVID since we last saw you, is it not?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And that's what, over 2 years ago.
Yeah, about 2.5 years, probably. Yeah, no.
That's a long time.
It is a long time.
You know.
It feels like a long time as well.
The whole country just came, or the whole world kind of went to pot with it, but hopefully we're coming out the other end of it. So, Natalie runs Ghostramblers Investigations. Now, we've met Natalie before, as it says, but probably many of you haven't. So I'm going to ask her the usual kind of 1 or 2 questions that she's probably been asked about 10,000 times, you know. And it's a question I hate. I got asked it last week, and I hate it. Tell us about yourself, Natalie.
Well, I live in Wales. I do like doing a bit of paranormal investigating with my friends. Been doing it for probably like 6 years now, I think. Yeah, spiritual person anyway, into all that stuff. And I do like everything spooky.
So have you always been like that, or did you get broken growing up?
No, I've always been like that, always, yeah.
Just always been the kind of freaky person at school, you know, the person.
Yeah, the loner, the person on their own kicking rocks, yeah.
I like you seen the films. I'm actually playing my ping pong ball. I've got my pen. I've got my usual pen, but I've got a ping pong ball as well. It was on the floor. We've started using these in investigations.
Yeah.
Just normal ping pong. We've not done any luck with them yet, but you know, I think we've only used them about twice or something. But we're going to keep trying them. Just ask the spirit, if there is any spirit there, just to try and move them, or you know, whatever. It'd be great if it started bouncing, wouldn't it?
Yes, definitely.
There's Laura's one of our crew saying hello. I forgot what I was saying. So you see the movies, the girl that nobody talks to at lunchtime, you know, sits and they say stay away from her. She's the freaky one. She lives in that house and all the rest of it. So you were that lady in your school?
Yeah, definitely. Billy no mates.
How did your friends, you know, outside the school, how did your friends react to you being into the paranormal and spooky stuff?
Yeah, most of my friends are, that's just me. So they're quite interested in it. Some of them have come along on investigations with us as well. So yeah, they do enjoy it. And some of them obviously don't like it, and they wouldn't even come if I paid them anyway. So mixed.
So, do you find that there's a lot of people, I know we've encountered, you know, we've met a few that are interested in the paranormal, but they won't admit it until somebody else comes out and says it?
No, they might know. To be fair, my friends are pretty, they're either interested or not. They're either like, oh no, it's rubbish, or they're like really interested in it. Just to go for an experience, I think, as well, just to go experience it for himself. Some of my friends have obviously been like, no, I don't believe in it, but they want to come to see if we can change their mind.
Gail and her team, her husband Reese, Gail Reese, part of our team. Reese was a skeptic. We're skeptic as well, you know. We're kind of like, I'd say I'm kind of 80% believer, 20% skeptic. I think you need to be that wee bit skeptic. You know, instead of everything's paranormal, you know, you've got
that's the point of being an investigator as well, is the fact that not everything is paranormal. So if something happens, to try and find out what it could have been, rather than just assuming it could have been a ghost or a spirit, because like you said, 9 times out of 10 you can actually debunk it. So then it's good when you find the ones that you really can't explain.
Nice. Well, Reese, he was quite the skeptic, and he came along to one of our investigations and with the headphones on him, and he went away with a whole different kind of viewpoint on it, because he gets some sort of personal stuff came through the head that only he knew. And so after the investigation, he was kind of like, okay, maybe there is something to this, you know. And it's not that, I don't know what you think, it's not that you're trying to convert them, you know. You're not saying, right, come out, I'm going to convert you to the paranormal. It's just that, you know, we always say, well, come out, you know, we'll do the investigation, you can take part or you can watch and see what happens at the end of the night, what you think, you know.
Yeah. And then it's always interesting if they do experience something that they can't quite explain as well. So yeah, because when you go on investigation, you know yourself that you're just trying to find evidence for yourself so that you can make a connection. So yeah, there's been a few friends that have come and they've had the same experience where they've gone away going, well, I'm not 100% a believer in it, but I can't quite explain what happened then.
Went home and phoned their family and told all their friends and stuff like that, you know. And they'll say, Natalie's really, she is really spooky. It's true. The story's true. She is really freaky. Stay away from her. I've been there.
Yeah, my partner would probably say the same thing, to be honest with you.
Is he not the paranormal mind?
No, not really. I don't think. He's kind of one of those people that he'd have to see something to believe it. So he would need to experience it because he doesn't really, you know, there's been a few things that we've done where he's been, oh, that's a bit weird. A place where I go investigating that's close to where I live as well. He walked past a certain part where I've never told him anything about it. But when he walked past it, he went, oh, I've got a really weird feeling. It just feels really weird by here. And that is the exact location where I do investigate. You know, I've had some really good EVPs in there. So he was a bit creeped out by that when I told him, but he's not 100% a believer in that sort of stuff, no.
Yeah, I think you need to have that experience. I mean, personally, me, I've been into paranormal for a long time, you know, but I was never really a believer. I used to watch all the horror films and ghost shows and all the rest of it, and it was after I went to a spiritualist church of all places, and I was a medium that was there, and she told me stuff that just kind of blew me right. She told me about a daughter I'd lost and an ex-girlfriend who'd passed away and another. She told me details about, you know, how she passed away, where she passed away, you know, everything. And there was nearly this woman, because it was years before, and that's what really kind of nailed it for me. You know, I came out, it was one of the nights where you came out and I sat in the car for about half an hour before I started the injury. I just sat there thinking, did that really happen? You know? Hi there, buddy. I can't pronounce that guy's name. I do apologise. It's good to see you anyway, my friend. Some names I can't pronounce, maybe because I'm Scottish and thick. You know, I don't know. You know, maybe. I forgot what I was going to say. We've been talking a lot about that, how people, you know, get into paranormal with ghost shows. Do you think anybody new coming into the paranormal, no disrespect to them, the ghost shows, do you think they help them or hinder them?
I think they hinder them a bit, some of the ghost shows, because obviously when you go on investigation, you know yourself, you go sometimes and nothing happens. Or you might just have an influx of activity and then nothing for a long time. So I think the shows can make it look like, you know, if you was to go, then it would be constant stuff happening and going off all the time. And then it's difficult to know whether or not to believe them.
But to call him Rick, if he's here, I can call him. Cheers, Rick. That's a lot easier for me, calling you Rick. You're right. So your first ever investigation, right, years ago.
Yeah.
Tell us about that, because I know everybody gets into the paranormal in a different way, you know, for whatever reason. There's a million different reasons. And everybody's experience on their first expectations and experiences on their first investigation are always different. I've never met two people the same, basically. What about your first ever one?
Remember it? Our first, we went to the church in our local village for the first ever one. But I think the first proper one that we did was in a chapel in Tinton, which is along the Wye Valley, and it burnt down in the 1970s. So it's obviously an unused one. It's a derelict building. So we went up there, and that was a good. It was very atmospheric anyway. It was our first investigation. We didn't have like that much equipment to take with us anyway. So yeah, but we really enjoyed it. So it kind of kickstarted off from there, really.
Did you kind of get it becomes addictive.
Yeah, no, it does. I think, and if you go on investigation, you have a really good one as well, then obviously it kind of steers you on to want to do another one as well.
And you start getting activity, then you just want to stay there and stay there. I mean, we've done investigations and we've been there for like 5-6 hours, and we've not even realised the time.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you're having a good time and it's you're getting some really good communication, you can get sucked into a time vortex, and you sort of sit there and think, oh God, it's 2:30 in the morning, and because the activity's been so good, it just goes really fast.
You kind of get into a different kind of zone, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think if you make obviously if you're communicating with tools, and then obviously if you're communicating on a different level, yeah, you get really into it.
What do you? I mean, we're trying to get back to basics as much as we can. I know a lot of people go for the scientific side of it, with all the different gadgets and whatever. We try to be more basic for the simple reason, as I say this on a show last week, you can pick up, spirit for a wide kind of time range, centuries. And you may get a spirit for the 15th, 16th century that doesn't know what an LSS, SLS camera is, or, K2 meter, whatever. But so that's how we kind of use a box and like balls and stuff, because it doesn't matter what time frame you're from. Everybody knows what a ball is. What kind of stuff do you tend to favour?
Well, my favourite is my EVP recorders. But yeah, we have a lot of kit. But then, like you said, you can get so carried away, and I find that with a lot of kit that it's just more or less of the same thing, just in different boxes, different designs. So yeah, I like to keep it quite simple. We use torches a lot, the ones that go on and off when they have current by them, and yeah, just talking, listening for sounds, for bangs. A bit old school as well, just because, like you said, there's so much technology ones that go out there, but they can be interfered with so much as well, like phones or aeroplanes, anything that's electrical in the air. So EVP is one of my favorites. Yeah, we do have spirit boxes and stuff, but we don't tend to use them, and we do like the apps where you can get words come through, but then we only tend to sort of say that if they are within what we're talking about, and we get a word and it's sort of relevant to what we're saying, then we can tend to use them. But yeah, back to basics basically for us as well. I find that there's just so much kit that you can get. So I would say to anyone that would be thinking about doing it, that don't be worrying about rushing out and buying all this really expensive electronic stuff. Get yourself basic stuff, and yeah, like if a spirit is around, then yeah, and you say, can you move the ball, you've got much chance of it moving a plastic ball as you have of touching a K2 meter or anything else, I think.
Well, that's it. We're just trying to keep it bait. Plus, we're not scientifically minded. I'm as thick as mince. So science and all that just goes woof, away at the top. So I kind of frame of mind, if you don't understand something, or you don't know how to use something, then just don't use it.
Yeah. Well, we've got EVP recorders, we've got communication, we've got spirit boxes, we've got Brenda as well, which is the doll, which is just a doll really. But yeah, we tend to just be speaking and go on to the basics, because you find if you ask for knocks and bangs, is you tend to get them a little bit more than what you will sometimes if you ask for him to light a machine up.
Aye, because if you see a spirit, you're going to light that camera up, you're going to light that machine up, and like, what?
Yeah.
But if you say you're going to bang on that wall, so well, I can, I know how to do that. Just you mentioned the dolls. A few months ago, there was a kind of sudden upsurge on the sale of haunted dolls. I don't know if you noticed it, Dun. I know
Yeah.
you meant. They just seem to be everywhere, and people were buying them off of Amazon and eBay, and each doll had a story to it, a child attached to it. It was not usually a child who drowned in a river. I found was the most. What's your kind of whole take on the whole haunted doll? I know there is recorded instances, documented instances that can't be explained, but on the whole kind of haunted doll issue, what's your views on it?
I believe some objects can keep in feelings, memories, or something like that. I don't know. I have a lot of people sending me pictures of their haunted dolls and asking me if I can tell if they're haunted, and I always say, well, I can't tell through a screen. You'd have to have a look at the doll. My doll that I got was gifted to me. Somebody gave it me because their kids didn't like it. It's actually my partner who does Ghostramblers with me. Her boys were like, no, get it out of the house. So she said, do you want it? So I thought, well, yeah, because I could, make something, because I do a lot of equipment that I do myself. And then we went on an investigation, and we were talking to a spirit in a graveyard, and we just asked, is there anything else that you want us to bring with us when we come back? And it said the doll's name, which was just really weird, because we'd never had that name come before. It was a really particular name, and yeah, it just came through the spirit box. So we kind of thought, well, okay. I don't know whether that was a spirit connecting, but we thought, yeah, we'll bring. So Brenda comes everywhere with us. Whether other people's dolls are haunted, I don't know. I'd have to see it to believe it, if you know what I mean.
No, I totally get it. It just seemed there was a sudden upsurge on it, and if you went onto eBay, they maybe had one called, say, Rebecca, for instance, and somebody would buy it. But if you went back on eBay, there was about 100 Rebeccas. 100 of the same dolls, and I thought it's just got to the kind of ridiculous.
Well, it's a cash cow, isn't it? At the end of the day, for a lot of them, it is a cash cow.
And then I've seen some teams that maybe get 6 or 7 dolls all lined up, and each one's holding a K2 meter, and they're all side by side with each other, and they're trying to work out how all the K2 meters are going nuts at the same time and stuff. Weird doll. Well, she's not actually, she is a doll. Have you ever seen Toy Story?
Yeah.
See that Gabby?
Mm-hmm.
We've got one of them, and we take her out, and she's no haunted or anything like that, We did get some cat ball activity over on Saturday when we were out there. So we take her with us, but she's just a toy. We don't claim that she's haunted or anything.
Yeah, I mean, we don't say if our doll is haunted. She comes with us. We use her if we're in an area where there are known to be children, spirit children. So we'll use her more like, hey, there's a doll on the floor. If you'd like to come and play with her, move her hair, pick her up, whatever you want to do. So yeah, that's what we kind of use her as a tool in that way, really.
I see.
We've never done an investigation or anything on it. Like, I don't get any bad vibes off of her or anything like that anyway. So
no, I did the way. Gabby's actually quite pleasant. She always smiles. Yeah. She's quite a be happy doll. Just what you were saying about EVPs, a team we work with called SPIG, Scottish Paranormal Investigation Group. They're quite big. One of the guys, David, he's quite big on EVPs. We've done a few investigations with them, and it is remarkable what they've picked up.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Paul.
they are my favourite things to use, EVPs, because I think you do get some good ones that come through, and they're very hard to kind of explain if you're in a silent environment, and you get really good ones. I do get very excited.
But that's what I was going to say. You say a silent environment. I know a lot of people probably doubt them, you know. But if you're standing in a corridor and it's total silence, and then you play it back, and you're getting what sounds like voices, you need to ask yourself, well, where did the voices come from?
Yeah.
Because everybody around you is kind of totally silent, you know. So we're starting to get into the EVP side of it, because Spig, they've had quite a lot of good results when we've been with them, and clear names and stuff like that. Same as the apps. I know a lot of people put these apps down, you know,
Yeah.
related, but we've had stuff in different. I don't know if you've had this in different accents.
Yeah.
Have you picked up on that? We use the Necrophonic all the time, and we've had like Scottish, Irish, we've had French as well.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I do like them. I think that they're quite, like I said, if they're relevant to what you're saying as well, and you can get different ones that sound different. I've been in areas where I've used them, and accents come through that I know the history of, so I can kind of go, okay, that's strange, because I know for a fact that blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, EVPs are interesting, and if you get clear names and sentences as well. Sometimes, I mean, I've had some that have just blown my mind away, because there is just no way that you can explain who that was speaking. They've said a full sentence. Yeah, that's why I like them. They're my favorite, I think. So, like you said, some people don't believe them, but I think if you get a really good, clear one, and with whoever you're doing the investigation with as well. So
the sentences is we done a place last year, Caldwell, and I've spoken about it quite a bit, because the amount of evidence we got there was unbelievable. And we got what we call the Whispering Lady. And you know, with the Necrophonic on, and I heard everybody else in the team were hearing, it's hard to describe, they were hearing a sharp intake of breath. I think it was 6 or 7. But I was the only one that heard this full sentence. And but we both reacted at the same time to different, you know, but we didn't each realise that we were reacting to different things.
mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so we listened back to this sentence, this lady, and Jennifer for our American team, she's big on audio, you know, and so I sent it to about 11 different people, and they all came back with the same thing, saying that's no through an app. Whoever this lady was, she was beside you at the time.
Mm-hmm.
It was Jim Martin for the Spirit Realm Network who finally managed. We thought it sounded like Latin, you know, at first, but he broke it down, and he says she's actually asking you, is your light better now? And if you watch your footage, you move your EMF meter and it goes to red, and then you move it again and it goes to red again, and then she says, is your light better now? Which kind of totally blew my mind. But we've had sentences through the Necrophonic, and as to say, I'm no tech savvy, you know. I'm not, you know, tech away beyond me. But as far as I'm aware, these apps, they're no designed. A lot of people say they're loaded with words, but they're no designed to give you full sentences.
No.
You know, so as you say, you've had sentences. So when a sentence comes through an app, how do you explain that?
Yeah, I think, yeah, and especially if they're relevant as well. That's the whole fun of doing it as well, isn't it? And going through your information, putting it all together, and then and you miss out on so much, like you said, when your friends go over it or you go over it, and you can kind of like put it all together, and you can see it coming, all the evidence kind of appearing in front of you.
It's always after the event, you know, that we find, no doubt you do it as well, that when you tend to hear more, because I think you're that, on your investigation, you're that focused that there's things going on around about you that you're not picking up on, but
Yeah.
your microphone, your camera, whatever picks up on. Colin's asking, Colin's says new here. Welcome, young man. You both sense spirit. Do you ever sense spirits about you?
Oh yeah, definitely, all the time. I've always been able to pick up on stuff like that.
See, I'm not a medium or anything by far, but there have been investigations. Like Saturday there, I had a strong feeling that I was at the end of a corridor. I wanted to be at the end of this certain corridor, and I had the feeling that there was a guy standing watching me. And, you know, so occasionally I'll pick up in spirits. I used to read your photographs, actually, Natalie, mind that?
Yes, you did, yeah. Yeah.
I know I'm told you both do. Who told you? I don't know who told them. I always remember the photograph you took at the side of that house. I think it was Carla.
Carla, yeah.
There was. I always remember. I still tell some people about that photograph with the woman from Downtown Abbey.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's in the Piercefield mansion, which the woman you picked up on was exactly the one that Carla picked up on when we walked up there, and she says she could see her in the window.
It was weird, you know, because I mean, I did tell people where it said, well, how could you see? I said, I don't know. It's just you get it up here.
You get a picture in your head, don't you?
You do. You're kind of looking at a window, and you just, I don't know how you can explain it. Just
it just appears in your mind, in your third eye.
Aye, that's the thing. That's the other pull about the paranormal. You just don't know.
No, you can't. I mean, I've had situations where people have gone, oh, that's paranormal, but I've thought, no, it's not, because you can debunk it. And then I've been in situations when I went to the Savoy and I went up onto the balcony. I didn't know anything about the history, because I don't like to find out about the history before I go. I like to, you know, pick up on what I pick up on. And I felt my stomach just went, and it felt like I was falling over the balcony. And I was falling down, and then obviously I could see the person that I could see, which was a woman, and then I could see her dead at the bottom of the stairs. And it turns out that a woman got pushed over there I think it was in the 1920s, and she obviously fell and broke her neck and died. And I didn't know any of that before, so that was really, even though it was good to be able to feel that and then have somebody confirm that actually did take place. Because it was very overwhelming for me as well, because obviously you can feel all of the things that this woman must have felt as it was happening to her, basically. So it's good to be sensitive.
I know exactly. That happened to me way back. We first started. We went to a graveyard in a small village called Douglas, and I was with this guy, and I walked in this certain part of the graveyard, and I felt I was short of breath. You know, and I felt, I don't get anxious or anything, but I felt kind of anxious walking. I tell him, I said, there's something, and there was a kind of road on the other side of the fence, and I says, there's somebody, it's a guy, he walks up and down here. I says, but I'm getting short of breath, I'm getting kind of anxious, and there's something, there was a housing scheme facing us. I says, it's tied to that housing scheme as well. And the guy turned and says, you're bang on. So there was a young boy who was attacked at his house and he was strangled. I said there was more than one guy there. There was 3 or 4 of them attacked. He says, aye. He says it was in the papers or anything, but he was attacked and he was strangled to death, basically. Mm-hmm. And his family still live in that section of the village. But it was amazing just how it can affect you.
Yeah. If it's going to go in there, it'll go in there. It just just kind of takes over, and then it can be experienced differently by different people, I suppose, when you're sensitive as well. People pick up on different things.
Exactly. I mean, I picked up, as I say, I'm not a medium. I know you get. I think it's the easiest thing in the world for somebody to put a hand up. No offence to mediums. but to say, right, I'm a medium.
Mm.
You know what I mean? But they need to kind of back it up. And a couple of people called me a medium, and I'll say, no, I'm not a medium.
Yeah.
I'm not a saint.
I'm not either. I mean, my friend Carla's very good. She's very good medium. I think she gets a bit embarrassed, but she's really good. I've watched her say things to people that there's just no way that she could know. I've been with her when she's met complete strangers and been able to describe their mother to them. So she's definitely a medium, I would say, from my own personal experience of watching what she can do. But for me, no, I'm not. I just pick up on spirit, but not in that way.
Do you think maybe, kind of pick up on it randomly? Do you think that's maybe down to spirit deciding that we're going to pick up on something?
Yeah, maybe they can, I don't know, electrical frequencies or anything could be maybe tuned into something they're tuned into. So that's why they can connect with who they can connect with. It's sort of like a beacon. If you can connect with them in different ways, maybe everybody shines differently, so they can kind of think who they can communicate with and who they can't.
Because I don't know if you've heard of Barry John. He's a medium. We've had him on a couple of times. He's coming on a couple of weeks ago. But I was telling him about the Whispering Lady, as I call her. And I said, what I don't understand, Barry, is how it's just me that heard it and nobody else. He says that's because she wanted to make contact with just you for some. And it was really weird because this was around about last October time, and about 2 months ago we were out with Spig at a graveyard, just no far from here, but it's about 20 miles from the Caldwell, and I had the headphones and the blindfold on, and I get the same woman, same voice, same sentence, as clear as a bell. And that it didn't freak me out, but I whipped the blindfold off. I says, right, I'm done. I need to sit down. I wasn't scared or anything. I was more shocked than anything.
Yeah.
Because it's the last thing I expected to hear. So I spoke to Barry again. He says, to me, that's her letting you know that she's still around you. Even though it's been a year, whatever, give or take. She just wants you to know she's still around you. Why you heard the same kind of sentence. But as the paranormal's that vast, and as I say, it's been about a year since that happened. Do you think that I'll ask quite a few people this because it's one question I'm always curious about. Do you think spirit has any recognition of time, awareness of time? I mean,
some do, but some don't. I think it all depends on what sort of spirit form they are, whether they are a memory or a general reliving of something or a haunting. So I think some are intelligent and they do understand, and some don't. No, they don't. Some don't even know that they are past because they're living in a memory of something, if you can understand. So they're unaware of a lot of things. I personally found in my experience.
Have you ever encountered a group of spirits talking amongst each other?
Yeah, in some of the locations that we've been to, yeah, there's been a couple of times that I've gone, and it's been very activital, a lot of activity going on. Yeah.
Activity? Did you say activital?
Activital, yes. It's Welsh, it is. See.
What? That Welsh or something? Because I've never heard that up in Scotland, though. Activital.
No, activital. Sounds more Scottish than it does Welsh as well.
You think? I can't imagine. Yeah. That's very activital. You're like, what? You know what I mean?
Activities.
It's very active, you mean?
Yeah.
Aye.
It's late, you know what I mean? It's been a long day.
you only finished work.
The words are trying to come out properly.
We do appreciate Natalie just finished work at 9:30, folks. So she has a long day for her. But we do appreciate her being here. Because we've had that a few times and we're picked up on spirit talking to each other. We even did one instance where it was Andy Murphy who broke the new recordings, and he sent me like 22 files, and there's a woman there, and you can hear her quite clearly saying to a male, "Shh, they can see you."
Yeah.
You know, so, and it says it's almost as if these spirits are standing at the same bit as you are.
Yeah, I think so, definitely. I think they're more intelligent ones, so obviously they can see you. You can't see them, and they can see other ones as well. Because some spirits are definitely aware that there are other spirits there. There's one in a place where we go to where we believe it's the spirit of a caretaker, and he's very conscious of all the other spirits that are there. He's very conscious of people that go there, and yeah, you can hear. We've had him come up a couple of times with other people on EVPs or conversations through Spirit Box as well, where they told them you could hear a child laughing, and they said he had turned around and said, "You need to get down from there now," and the child said, "Okay." But there was nobody else around. There was no children. There was no man there. But we could clearly hear a child and a man having a conversation.
You see, it's that's why I love the paranormal, because you know we picked up on a child laughing at this location we did, and we were there a couple of weeks ago, and the lotties were entering into a room, and we all heard a woman saying it was either hiya or hello. And it wasn't any of us, but I went, hello, you know, clear as a bell. And it's stuff like that you think, right.
Especially when you can hear things with your own ears. I think if you can hear something, you might have assumed it was somebody else, or you know, and it turns out it wasn't somebody else, or you hear something and everybody's looking at each other as we say, well, I didn't say that, you didn't say that, but you know that you heard what you heard.
It's when I know when an individual, say there's 5 years on an investigation, and one person might say, right, I heard a woman there. And say, right, well, you're a bit doubtful. You say, well, you sure you heard a woman? Because I know maybe the one, but you say when, you know, there's a group of you, it's happened to us, there's 4 or 5 people, they hear the same thing at the same time, and they all react, you know. We were out a few weeks ago in a graveyard. We seem to just go to graveyards. I don't know what it is. It's just graveyards, isn't it?
Good place to hang out.
I love them. I love them. Whatever, call me sad. I don't care. You can't beat a good graveyard. And we were all standing, and we heard what we can only describe as a metal clank. And everybody heard it at the same time. There was nobody else there. So it's when a group of people hear the same thing and they all react at the same time. That's when you get a buzz.
Yeah, definitely. That's true.
Yeah, that's when because I mean, I've heard things in investigations, but then you think, well, did I hear it? Or did I just think I heard it? Or did I watch something? You know, do you find your mind can kind of, if you're out in an investigation, you're really wanting to hear something, that your mind can kind of trick you into that you have heard?
I don't tend to so much, because I think I'm quite lucky with who I do it with as well. We're very kind of, we're on the very much same wavelength. So yeah, we don't, because we've been doing it for so long as well, we don't really tend to let our minds get away with it. Because you know as well, sometimes when you go, it's just nothing happens for ages. So you're just sitting there, but my mind doesn't kind of go away with it at all, to be fair. I'm a very big debunker, so yeah, I would, my mind wouldn't be able to do that. I just couldn't do it.
I think you need to be a debunker. You need to go and look for stuff,
figure out what it could have been. You know, is the light shining that way? Is there a door banging? I went on an investigation a couple of weeks ago. It was absolutely amazing. There was doors being banged and everything in answer to our questions, and we were obviously, you know, going around trying all the doors, which door it was. None of them sounded the same. It was a really old building, so the doors are really heavy, really heavy. But the door bangs that we were getting were coming up the corridor, as we were talking, because we were in a room far up, and they were coming up the corridor. So there was no one else in the building. So we did think, well, wow, that's pretty amazing, because we've gone round, we've looked at the doors. No doors are open. The doors that are open wouldn't be moved by wind because they're too heavy. And the bangs were coming up the corridor, which was coming closer and closer to where we were. K2 meter was going off as well. So yeah, that was really good.
You see, when you get door action, we had that a few weeks ago. This location we done with Spig. There was me, David, and Rigger, and we were standing in the corridor, and there was a set of swing doors, a glass panel in the middle, and one of the doors was open. It opens one of the old-fashioned hooks, and it fastened into a kind of clip, a metal clip on the wall. And I was just about to go live, and the door just started swinging shut, and the threes just stood there for a good 10-15 seconds thinking, are we watching this door? The door was swinging, but we were standing looking at it. We're watching the door swinging, thinking, is that door swinging? And so we went live, and we tried and it was a fairly heavy door. We tried everything to debunk this door, maybe the hook fit popped out the catch, but we hauled at the hook, the catch, everything. And then we were lucky enough that it happened another twice on the live. That the door just shut. One of the time it happened, it scalped Rigger. It hit Rigger at the side. And it's when you get stuff like that, you think, do you know what? We can't explain that. We're trying to debunk it. We've hauled it.
Always try and debunk, because it's even more of a buzz when you can't debunk it. And you've all seen it. You've got it on video, wherever you've got it. If you can't debunk it, then it's a bigger buzz, because you've got something.
So because as I say, there's too many teams out there. I call it the paranormal wagon. As soon as you hear us out, that's paranormal.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've probably done it ourselves, from time to time, or the months, But I mean, there was one time me and this other guy, it was an old power station, two of us were out front. It's got 3 levels, this place, and we're doing a live, and we could hear this. It sounded like a banging, a slight banging. And we said, where the hell's that coming from? Because there's nobody here. And so I went walkabout looking, and it turned out it was 4 drips of water hitting a metal girder same time, at the exact same time these dropped, and it was creating this echo. We thought, well, that's what's causing that noise. It's just water or metal. But I think there's other teams who say, well, it's an empty power station, so that's paranormal. Same as demonic.
No, we don't really tend to do that. We're pretty good at we're both along the lines of debunk if we can, because like I said, it's more evidence as well if you can't do it. And it could be a whole host of things. It could be wind blowing, it could be, like you said, water dripping, it could be a window open, it could be that somebody's stood in another part of the building and they're banging, or their footsteps, so it could be 101 different things.
Colin's got a question for you, actually. Sorry, Colin, I just noticed that. But goes, who you wanting to hear from? I think he's meaning, if you could pick one person that's passed over to hear from.
Well, I don't know really. I hear from quite a few people that have passed anyway, so but I don't know. I suppose if I wanted to speak to one person who's passed, it would probably be my grandmother. And that would be who I'd want to speak to.
That's the same as me. I would love to speak to my grandma. My grandma was like 3'4" or something. She was tiny. She was about 1
My grandma was pretty small too, to be fair. Yeah, she was like 4 foot something, I think.
I think all grannies are short. I've never met a tall granny.
No. Must shrink.
Aye, they do. They just go. But we were scared stiff here. We didn't bother my dad. We'd respect my mum and dad, not obviously. But if my grandma says something, then that was law.
Oh, yeah. My grandma was the complete opposite. She was a soft person. I loved her grandkids. So
I know my granny. She'd want this one habit. I know it's no paranormal, but it's going to stay with me in my days. She used to go into my mum's purse and rob my mum or silver, 50 pences, 10 pences, and then she would get kitchen roll and she would roll it up in this massive ball and stick it under my mattress. And she would come and say to me, check under your mattress, son. Just, you see the lump in the mattress and you look at the big pile of kitchen, it'd be like £2 in it or something, that she's robbed off my mum's purse, I was there till she passed away, bless her. My mum says, your gran used to rob me blind. She must have thought I was thick, because I know she used to steal money off of me and stick it under your mattress, but I always turned a blind eye. I know it's but
you knew the whole time.
It was one of these wee things that she used to do, and it was like an SAS operation, under the mattress, son, go check now, Roger. And you'd be like, as I thought, so you'd roll on about £2 in it or something, Thanks, Gran. That's great, Hey, shouts that, buddy. Colin saying grannies are the best. They're the best. You can't beat your gran, no physically, you know what I mean. But I'd like to hear from my wee gran again. Because I was closer to her than anybody. So your photography, now you're an amazing photographer.
Thank you.
Yeah. Everybody's checked them out and say go Ghostramblers and give up.
Ghostramblers investigations.
Sorry, investigations at the end of it. How does that come into your investigations? Because we took photographs. I know Spig, they take a lot of photographs. What were the photography side with your investigations?
I have always liked it anyway, and I love taking photographs. I love to catch atmospheric pictures. So obviously doing investigation is very atmospheric. Doing urban exploring is good. So it just kind of ties in, really. I go on investigations, or if we just go out and my friend will take the same photos. She says, I don't know how you do it. I take the same photographs, but yours look different. But then I do get in all different kinds of angles. It's just something I really enjoy, and it goes in well with what I do.
I have seen some of your how you first started calling us. I had a look at your Facebook page, because back then I used to research your guests, no disrespect to them now, I don't research them now, because I just find it's better doing a live blind, basically. But I did see some of your photographs, and you must have been at some kind of festival or something. Always remember you got a blue dress on.
Oh, yeah.
You're kind of climbing. I take it you were hammered because you're kind of climbing over people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just these photographs you remember. I thought, she's coming on our show. She better be sober.
Yes, I am. But yes, that was very, very good. That was a good night. It was very drunk. We did complete the pyramid, just in case you're wondering.
How many years were trying to do?
Oh, there was a lot. I think we did it about three tiers before we just couldn't do anymore. Yeah.
Is these kind of stupid things when you're drunk, and then you think the next day or two you think, why?
Well, I did think why, because I had work the next day at 9 o'clock in the morning, so I very much definitely thought why. I didn't go out to do that, but it's just the way it goes, really, isn't it?
And we've all done it. We've all done it at one point. I've done it a few times, and I used to work at a call centre, and I remember one Thursday I was in the house, I'd had a couple of beers, and somebody, it was about 9 o'clock at night. I was working the next day. I think I started at 8 or something the next day, something like that, and I had 3 or 4 beers in the house for some reason. And so I was starting to get a wee bit tiddly, and powerful is, you want to go to Spoons. And I thought, why not? So I went to Spoons and started drinking pitchers, Jack Daniels and everything in them. And then we ended up going to a nightclub.
All right.
you know, and the next morning I think I lasted an hour in work, and I was like, I need to go home. You know, my head was on the desk. I thought, I cannot do it physically, you know. But you do it and you go home and you think, why?
Just why have I done it?
And I was off Saturday and Sunday, and you think, why did I not just wait to the Friday?
Yeah. It doesn't work like that though. Everything's a good idea at the time.
You know, why? Because it sounds quite sad. You know, it's not I didn't have any friends, I did, but I used to have YouTube nights in the house on a Friday night. I'd get my beers in and I'd get the playlist on. I'd sit there quite merrily, just, you know, drink my beers and that till 3, 4 in the morning. You think, why did I do that on a Thursday? Why did I not wait 24 hours and do it on a Friday? And
Friday feeling on a Thursday.
It's one of these insane things that you do. Colin's asking where is your next investigation?
Ooh, our next one is at Magnum Castle by Bridgend. Really amazing looking building, really gothic. So excited to go as well. So that's on the 30th. That's our next inside one. We have got a few graveyard ones coming up as well, because it's Halloween and graveyards are the places to be. Yeah, but that's our next big one, is going to be Magnum Castle.
Good, so keep an eye out for that. Hey, Shrimp Shack, going to Edinburgh Vaults in March. What vaults is he going to Shrimp Shack? We were at the Nidgy Street ones about 2 weeks ago, and we got nothing. Nidgy Street South we were at, and we got diddly squat. We were there for 4 hours or something, and we ended up packing up and coming home. It's one of these that, I don't know if you've had them, Natalie, where you go in investigation and you just know there's nothing there.
Yeah, there's nothing there, yeah.
You know, it's just totally flat, and you think, this is a waste of time.
Yeah.
We're about an hour and a half or something for Edinburgh, so by the time we got home, it was like 4 in the morning or something like that, the time we got home. So, but we are doing Nidgy Street Vault, no, we're doing the other sets of vaults in Nidgy Street next month. We're going there during the day. Hey, Nando, buddy. I was going there during the day. But it's Halloween, graveyards are the place to be. You know, I know you're quite big on graveyards, the same as myself and the rest of our team. Do you think, here's a question for you, right? I've asked this a few people as well. Do you think that, I know a lot of teams go to one location after the other, you know, and never bother going back for a return visit. Do you think the more you go to the same location, have you ever found that the more you go to the same location, that spirit remembers you? And
yes, definitely in some cases, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And the more you go, the more the trust builds up.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I've been to some locations where yeah, the more you go there, the more stuff happens and the more weirder it gets as well. There's one place we go to, and the last time we went, it was just amazing. The activity we was getting was phenomenal. It really was. So yeah, definitely. I think if you go I think you have to build a rapport up as well.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we went to different locations and never went back, you know, a handful, but there's 2 or 3 that we do like to keep going back. And I know a lot of folk might think, you go in there again, you know, you've been there.
Yeah.
Times.
But then, like, the one place we like to go to is the Savoy, because when you go there, it's just an amazing place to go. I mean, it's every time we've gone, it's a little bit more every time, and the stuff that you get isn't little things. It's EVPs, it's moving object, it's full sentences, it's banging doors, it's running, it's opening doors, it's, you know, you can see the door handle moving. It's every time. So you're drawn back to it because you know when you go there, you're going to be getting something good. You get more of a connection every time you go back.
Is that the theatre?
Yeah, that's the Savoy Theatre in Monmouth.
Is that the one that I mean, I always remember long time you put up a picture, a photograph, what's the old-fashioned picture? You pop a picture, you pop a photograph of a staircase,
Yeah,
and
that's the one.
two ladies on that staircase. They were always going up. They never came down. They were just always going up. Did you ever find if it was anything in that or no?
Well, the history of the building is a theatre, but before that it was you're talking 17th century. Before that it was a pub as well. So it's got a lot of history to the grounds.
Mm-hmm.
The two ladies that we had there is the first time I went when we were sat in the most haunted room, and obviously I just had a vision of two ladies who looked identical coming straight up the corridor looking at me. They were identical in every way, the way they moved, everything. So that's the experience I had the first time. So it's weird that you say that about two ladies.
I always remember it was just I don't know if I commented on it, but I did get there was two ladies going up the stair, and they never ever came down. They're always seen not down. But it is you. I mean, you do the Witches Woods as well. You've been there a few times.
Yes, to the Haunted Forest. We do like to go there. 2 seconds. I'll be back. 2 seconds a minute. Sorry.
So be right back, folks. Be right back. But sounds I'd be interested to know what vaults you're going to build.
Sorry, I'm back. Sorry about that.
That's all right, though. That's all right. Sometimes you need to scoot away, you know. So the Haunted Woods, I thought they were called the Witches Woods. I think I'm getting mixed up.
Yes, we call them the Haunted Forest, which is one of my favourite places to go. We've had some really very strange experiences happening up there. That's when my partner was walking in when he walked past a certain point and said, "Oh, that feels really weird. I feel really like someone's watching me," which was in that particular bit. Very interesting place. When we go there, we tend to have the same number that comes through. The same stuff that kind of comes through all the time, so it's a constant sort of the stuff that you're getting is constant, so every time you go you can kind of connect with it because it's saying the same stuff as it did before. Very, very creepy place. It got a lot of history in it as well.
Yes, we love the history as well, obviously, because that's what we're called. Do you think that there should be more history in the paranormal?
It's a dodgy area because if you have a look at too much history, then you can say, like, say if people are saying they're picking stuff up and all, it could have been because they've gone and looked at the history of it. That's why I tend to not look at the history the first time I go somewhere, so I can kind of pick up on stuff and get my own feelings for it. And then maybe you can have a look a bit at the history after, because I think it's really important to know the history of something, the area, what's happened on the area, what's happened on the land, because it's not just buildings that get, haunted. It'll be the land of whatever has happened to make that be occurring.
I know what I mean is, I was on the other dimension last week. We were talking about this, that there's a lot of teams will go to a location, say for instance a castle, for example, and they'll just say, right, we're here at this castle and we're going to investigate. But they don't give you a brief rundown of where they are, and like who built it and who maybe stayed there or was
you should always do that because it's important. I mean, like the ancient Ramin, when you go there, it's important to know, because you want people to understand a little bit about the place and the history of it, to understand why the stories of why this place is haunted anyway.
So we've got that coming up. Actually, so you've been there, haven't you? The Ramin.
Yes, we went to the Ramin. I can't remember if it was March, April time. Yeah, so, it was. We went then, I think.
What was your thoughts on it?
Well, I enjoyed it. I had some mad dreams before I went. And then obviously when I was there as well, I got scratched. So it was there's definitely something going there. I would definitely go back to do another investigation. There's something definitely something about it. I don't know if it's the building per se or whether it is something to do with landlines and where it's positioned. But yeah, it was interesting. I've only been once, so I'd have to go back again.
We're looking forward to going. It's one I've asked this to a few people. Do you think that John Humphreys still kind of roams there?
Oh no, he does. Yeah, definitely, 100%. Yeah,
I
definitely.
think was it 2012 or so he passed away, something like that.
Yeah.
But we all know the connection that he had to that building.
I think he loved it so much. There wasn't any way he wasn't going to be there, if you can understand. Yeah, he's definitely there. I don't know if he's consciously aware that he's there in that form, but he's definitely there, doing the same thing he loved doing when he was alive, I would say.
I think he come across as quite a pleasant spirit because, I did watch a lot of it when they'd done interviews with him when, obviously he was still here, and they'd done a few interviews with him in and out of the building, and he came across as quite a kind of chilled, laid-back guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, just my opinion, I think he'd be, hey, Chapel, buddy, I think he'd be the same in spirit. What's your opinion, Natalie? Do you think, when we pass over, I've always said we're the exact same as we were here, except we don't have the body. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think so. I think if you're here still, then you're the same person that you was in whatever context you want to take that in, definitely. Obviously, if you were a bad person or nasty, then you'll be that afterwards. If you weren't a nasty person, then you won't be a nasty person. I don't think a spirit would change its personality when it dies. Personally, I don't think, because you can get in contact with some spirits that are lovely, and then you get in contact with some which just give you bad vibes, or they're not saying very nice things. Do you know what I mean? Or they're not happy with you.
Aye, I know 100% agree. It's a question because I know the word demonic comes up quite too much,
I think so too. I'm not particularly a believer in sort of demons and stuff like that. I don't think that if you're communicating with something that's an evil demon, I think it probably just maybe a nasty person who used to be horrible in actual life. That's why they're. But like you said, everybody tends to go, "Oh, it's a demon. It's that." But I just think, you can just get nasty spirits. They were nasty in life. They might have been abusive. They could have, kicked kids in the street. That sort of a person. So they're going to be the same when they've passed over.
Well, no, is that 100? That's my view on it as well. I mean, I do believe there is some kind of demon somewhere, some form. What it is, we don't do.
Human. It's a human.
It could be human. Who knows? That's what I was saying to Ben. But he's a demonologist, Ben Woodfield, and I was saying to him, no disrespect to you, but we don't do demons. I suppose you believe in good, you need to believe in evil. You can't have one without the other, basically. But there's two. I think it's just for dramatic effect, but it's a demon. That's a demon. And I mean, let's face it, over the years, we've all known somebody who has been grumpy and just not a people person. The old man, I know I've known a few of them in Glasgow, the old man down the street who would kick your backside if you're bawling into his kind of thing, and then drag you home with your dad who would kick your backside again. People like that, and as you say, Natalie, the grumpy there, they're going to be grumpy when they're on the other side. They're not going to suddenly become angels.
Any different, no.
Aye, you've still got a grumpy bugger on the side, basically. But I think too many people jump on this demonic possession. The other one I've heard is alien possession. I don't know if you've heard this one lately or not.
Yeah.
You've heard about the famous alien possession that came down. their wee spaceship or whatever and come from Mars, wherever, and possess you and all the rest of it. And, you know, all right, no disrespect to them, people will believe it, but to me it's a load of BS.
I think it's very, with demonology as well, I think, you know, people about possession, that people actually in America didn't actually used to have anything about possessions or anything until the film The Exorcist come out, because obviously in the Catholic religion it's obviously part of the religions of demons and stuff like that. But I think, yeah, with films and certain programs that sort of promote it, it is used, you know. There's a lot of cases that you've got over history as well, when you actually look at them and they've said, oh, this person was possessed, they've actually got, you know, historic documents that can back up that they had problems mentally, or they had some other sort of thing. There's kind of explanations for it. So I think, yeah, a lot of people can jump on it and be like, oh, it's a demon. And yeah, I like to communicate, and I would think if I passed over and I was just feeling a bit grumpy and someone was calling me a demon, that'd probably make me even more grumpy, because I'm not.
No, you're quite laid back, you're quite chilled and laid back, but I think I'd be quite, you know, peed off if somebody a demon. But as you say, I mean, there's a lot back that, you know, that we didn't understand back then that we do now. You know, and I hate using the words, but, you know, and you could be classed as possessed, same as, you know, which leads back to the witchcraft trials and stuff like that, Pendle witches, you know, because they were different, or they used herbs or plants, flowers, whatever, they were, you know, demonic, you know, in league with Satan and all the rest of it. Whereas these days we realise that they're just normal people. I think you're a witch as well, you know.
Yes, I am, yes.
Yeah. I mean that in a good way. I'm not calling you you're a witch, you know what I mean? We're not going to chap your door and burn you at the stake or anything.
Thanks. I might actually want it this winter to keep me warmer.
Okay, there's no that cold, lass. It's still, you know, it's a
no, it's only October. I'm talking about maybe doing that in like January, February, when it does get cold.
There's still people going camping. We're quite keen campers, and there's still people going camping in this weather. Good luck. I'd go.
Not for me.
No, you prefer a caravan, a nice chalet, or the house, basically.
Yeah.
I totally forgot that you're a witch. You know, you tell us a wee bit about your witchy side.
Well, I just do balancing, really light work, white light work. That's it really. Herb spices, foraging, chilled vibes. Yeah, that sort of thing really.
So you don't run about the forest sacrificing goats and chickens and stuff?
Not yet, no. No, I'm not doing that, no.
Do you need to progress onto that kind of level?
Well, I don't know. I mean, if some people happen to pee me off, then maybe, you know, that might be a good idea at some point.
Or the dog thing, you know, you make up.
Yeah. No, I never do anything like that, because unfortunately it's balance work. So if I was to do something like that, it'd probably come back and affect me in another way somewhere else. So I keep everything balanced.
You just keep everything on the calm. So
yeah, you can't take without giving, and you can't give without taking. So
that's very true, though. That's very true. So we'll wait. But I want to get you back. You know, we'll wind it up there, because I know you've had a long day, and it's like 11:15, and you only finished just under 2 hours ago, over 2, whatever, 9:30. So I don't want to keep you up any later, because you'll be knackered.
I will.
You know. But I will get you back on. We can continue with part 2, if that's all right, though. You know, but
definitely.
Because I've got lots more to talk to you about. But I'll hold on easy for a wee second or two after we come off. So where can people find you? Ghostramblers Investigations. What platforms, etc., are you
on? We've got Facebook, Instagram, we've got TikTok, and we've also got YouTube as well, which has got all of our sort of episodes and a few shorts on there.
So give them a look up for Ghostramblers Investigations. Well worth a look. I've been following them 2.5 years now, and Natalie's photographs are fantastic. Apart from the ones at the festival, stay away from them.
Oh my God, yeah, don't look at them.
No, don't look at them. That was that, as you say, that was one of these why weekends.
Yeah.
So, but we'll wind up there, folks. That's us for tonight. So we're no back. In fact, our next adventure is next Monday night when we're out with Charlie and Rocks. For Charlie and Rocks Paranormal, they're coming up here. We're hoping to go to Caldwell. I'm going to go there on Thursday and check out the condition of the building because it's been near enough a year since we've been there. It's an abandoned building, and the weather over the winter wasn't too great.
No.
So I'd rather go during the day and have
Check
a
it
wee,
out first.
and see. Cause I don't want to take them into a death trap. That's just no ideal.
No.
But no, I've got a plan B and a plan C lined up, but Caldwell is the main target. And don't forget, a week on Saturday we're in our first ever boat investigation. Woohoo! I look forward to that. You don't know about that, do you? Unknown waters. We're going out in a boat to investigate the water.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Oh, we'll see what we get. Might find Nessie or something.
You never know. You never know.
She could pop up, but we'll not keep Natalie any longer. So thanks everybody coming in to chat for your comments and your questions, and take care. And we'll see you all again. No, in fact, no, we're live on Sunday night. See, I'm forgetting. Well, we're live again on Sunday night, 9 o'clock, with Jeff Hatch and John Ozuna, the stars of the CIA film Demon Fighter. That's when we're back, and then we're out on Monday with Charlie. I've got it right that time. You do tend to forget, don't you?
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you have that problem, and you'll think you something, and you'll forget something else before it.
Oh yeah, I double booked a couple of weeks ago. I was supposed to go somewhere, and I had to go to a wedding, and I could go. Yeah, write it in the calendar.
I've done that a couple of times. You double book, and then you need to choose who's going to come on.
Yeah.
And then you need to be very tactful about letting the other one down.
Yeah.
You don't
Situations.
Aye, second best. But anyway, I've rattled on enough. So have a good night, folks, and we'll see you all again Sunday night. And mind go give Natalie a look up. She's over there. All right, folks.
You.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.